Live.
2, 1, 2.
There, I think we're live. I think that one worked.
Um,
Yeah, so how you doing, Taz? This is another Esau night. Just the name of the stream, create some drama.
I'd be doing much better. I would be doing much better if I could see this live on your channel, which I cannot.
I think it's going though, isn't it?
Oh, now it is.
Yeah, it's going. But it's doing something.
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. I'm just getting my butt kicked by technology, Microsoft, and a whole bunch of fucking
I know, I hate it.
nightmarish.
Base pod, digital
Yeah, I
interface,
just want to jam.
buffer size not valid. Yeah, I went to school for that, and it all
It's
left my head the second it went in. I'm like, nope, you guys are engineers, you guys are the geeks, you remember the stuff. I'll just say, let's make it sound grittier. You know, that's what the dream was. But then you work in corporate audio.
Yeah, I love using English words. I love using English words to describe sound.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, audio engineers hate it because they want me to use the correct terminology. Like, oh, it's just the top end is clipping in this frequency band. Can we, package that up and maybe run it through whatever the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Was I'm just going to say words like, it's a little moist. It's a juicy sound, but I want a more of a savory, salty kind of a bite on that. And they just look at me like I'm an idiot. And I'm like, come on, bro, you know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
I'll actually mouth the sound I want. I'll be like, I want it to go do do do, not bull bull bull.
Yeah.
No, really fucking get jack of me. That's why all the bands I've ever been in failed and they all kicked me out.
You were a sound puritan?
Because I don't know. Because I wasn't, and I don't know all my technical lingo.
Yeah, you don't need the
It's all
technical
good.
lingo. I've heard you
Here I
talk
am
about audio.
figuring it out for myself.
I think you're cutting out a little bit. Is your signal strong? Could you go to your router and turn on your camera and show
Um,
me what the problem is? No, I'm kidding. But I think. Are you guys living in a home where you share it with other
no,
people? I hate that nonsense. I was in a condo
we
where
don't
we
have
had
any problems.
internet that
We've
comes with
got,
the condo, and it's like, yeah, free internet. And it's like, no, everyone's going to get their
dude, I
own
just did a
router.
check today. Well, Jack, get a load of this.
Mm-hmm.
We just did a speed check on the home internet, and it's well over 100 megabit a second.
Rad.
And
Is that
we've
good?
got booster hubs, so we can connect up to 100 devices at once.
Yeah. Rad.
It's 100 people could come to a party and all connect to the Wi-Fi and all have 1 megabit a second to themselves,
Wow.
which is pretty fucking decent.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like at
I
the same
guess it
time,
sounds
everyone could
impressive,
be watching
is what I
YouTube.
mean. Yeah, what's
Well,
your
there's
up
never
and
going to be
down
100
speed?
of
What's
us,
your up
so
down
there's
on
five.
that router? 14.4 kilobaud?
Um,
I just know
yeah.
Neve would laugh at something like that.
So
But
no, I'm all good on the internet front.
yeah.
The only sound issues will be that I'm talking straight at my phone. I'm not using a headset because
Mm-hmm.
this app that we're on, Zoom, didn't want to do that.
Zoom's just
Headset is
easier
plugged
for
in,
me
but
to
the
share
sound
the
just kept
screen and
coming
you can listen.
straight out of the.
You can hear videos easier. I like Hangouts too. When you used to just be able to hit go live, but then it was so limited. No one
Mm-hmm.
could ever share a video. Remember, we'd download an app. It's like start it once, and it's this app to like we all start a video at once on a secondary device. It's so lame. Like that was what we had to do with Hangouts in the old days, and way back in 2016.
It was beyond lame. The good part of it though was that Google Hangouts was functional. You could launch from YouTube directly without even using Hangouts. Um, yeah, the capabilities are much better on OBS, but that's only because those other companies like Google are a bunch of fuckheads and they simply don't care. They're too busy trying to take over the world with China and shit to actually give us any user experience, any user-friendly kind of fucking interface.
Yeah. I just got back from the cottage, and it's so nice to be out of cell phone territory. Oh, I hated it. It was back to basics. It's like, sorry, we don't have the internet. You can't watch the Mario Brothers show. We have to watch one of 4 DVDs. You know? And they have to love. I hope you like Despicable Me, because that and 2 others is what we brought. But it was a trip, man.
That's cool.
Bringing 3 kids to the cottage
So
when they're 5 and under. I had to come back for work, but her parents went up, so her parents are up there with them now. The cottage is about 3 hours northeast of Toronto. Is where this cottage was. It was just some rental. Like,
nice.
We looked in our local. She looked in the local Facebook group, and she's like, "This is a great deal."
Okay.
So it was fun, but it was nice to be out of cell phone range.
Is that? Well, you're in grizzly bear range, aren't you?
I think we only have like black bears, which are kind of like big pit bulls. I think there's no grizzlies or West Coast bears are a whole different ball of wax. West Coast, you're just going to get murdered by bears. But I think down this close to Toronto, the bears are like, no, we ain't going near 5G.
What's the main dangerous animal?
What's that? Main bear
So what's
family?
the most dangerous animal in your area? Would it be... No, just in the animal kingdom. Are we talking? It'll be like a jihadi, right?
That'd be the most dangerous animal?
Like you in France.
There's certain stretches of the 401 that are like Mos Eisley Spaceport of like, the Tamils are shooting at the Sri Lankan. Oh, that's the same shit. At the native Sri Lankans. There's a native Sri Lankan gang and a Tamil gang from there. And then the Somalis hate them all, so they shoot at everyone. But they're doing this on the freeways now. It's like dudes hanging out of cars, shooting at other cars. Like they just watched Boys in the Hood and want to recreate it on highways. So it's getting worse. Cool. And I talked to a cop that's just like, wow. And I said, you guys must be resigning soon, because in Iraq, they said you have to have the hearts and minds of the people. And cops do not have the hearts and minds of their own populace because of rising growth in this crap they teach in kids in college and humanities courses and elective courses has just turned people's brains to shit. So when they see a cop, they're like, he didn't do anything. He needs to have a lawyer here before you put those cuffs on. You know, everyone acts like that when they see a cop. Film them. You know, just to get their virtue points for, you know. You profiled him. That's because he's black, right? That's what they do. So, so who would want to be a cop? Who would want to be a cop?
Yeah, except for maybe some certain areas of the US where they've got a sheriff who's fucking lit and who's fucking down to earth. Mm-hmm. I caught myself the other day actually siding on that side of fuck the police. Look how rough they are handling this fucking suspect, you know, blah, blah, blah. I actually caught myself on the other side of that debate recently, and it was over you would have seen the footage possibly. It went kind of viral of a Melbourne police officer grabbing a girl, sort of grabbed her front on, face to face.
I've seen a couple. Sort of like, I've seen a couple that look like Orwell.
Kind of walked her around. I'm not saying he was choking the life out of her because she was screaming and yelling. So same theory as George Floyd. He wasn't cutting off any circulation or any air, but he definitely had this female around the throat and was moving her around, you know, by the throat, you know. And it was because she didn't have a mask on. And her boyfriend is standing there, exact same scenario. The boyfriend's standing there filming it, going, "Hey mate, you know, you're a male, she's a female. Why do you have to fucking be so rough? Why are you on top of her?"
That was his girl?
Blah blah blah.
So, no. He shouldn't have done that. Sorry, go on, finish the story. But yeah, he should have attacked the officer and been sent to heaven. Sent to heaven as a martyr to spark the revolution to save Australia.
Dude.
You know what I mean?
That's what I would do.
Well, it's easy to say.
Yeah, as I'm watching it, I know where he is because he's the camera. He's the cameraman, so I know where he's situated, and the camera is my point of view, and I'm imagining being him in that moment, and I'm just imagining fucking just punting that cop right in the head. So just to go to show that sometimes you can find yourself on the other side of these arguments. than what you would expect to find yourself. And the reason is, this wasn't a nigger who was passed out from fentanyl behind the wheel of a car after doing whatever other dodgy shit that George Floyd did. Just a young girl who wasn't wearing a mask and I guess got argumentative about it. We don't know really how it started, but so it's nuanced. I took her side in that, and I took the fuck the police side.
That's her boyfriend filming this?
It's different in different countries too.
She seems... Well... Okay, hold on. Did we get this from...
Hang
you
on.
can see what's happening?
I was looking at the... I wasn't
Yeah,
looking.
never ever do that. Okay,
I wasn't.
No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. Okay, so we don't know yet. We don't know yet what happened before that. Did she say, "I'll never wear a mask, you pig," and hail Satan and run at him? You know what I mean? Or was it just a mask?
She looks like a...
we don't want to George Floyd this one.
Well, I can tell you what kind of a person she is. She's what we call a bogan. That doesn't mean she's left wing or right wing, but it's more likely that she's definitely not a lefty.
Yep.
Even though she looks like she might be a bit of a... She looks like a bit of a dykey, lesbian-y kind of in Australia, in Melbourne. I can tell you straight away that's a bogan. That's like
that's a chick at a pub trying to deprogram another chick to turn her lesbian.
Right, exactly.
Right.
She's a bogan. She's a rough nut.
Okay, but she's hetero, and this is her boyfriend filming it.
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying? That this is her boyfriend?
It goes on for quite some time.
Oh, man.
Her boyfriend is the cameraman, correct.
So, I need to know how long they're together. Because if they're like 5 years and, there's an engagement ring on her finger, he should probably attack this cop.
I would say if...
Well, let go of the best. Hey, wait. Let go of the best.
No, unless he's paid...
No, this is looking...
Did you hear the police? Did you hear the female police?
Oh.
This is where she kicks the female officer. Oh, I have that bitch right in the twat.
Wow. That's side control. He's in side control and he's got her back. This could be a rear naked. He's going for a rear naked here.
You're choking her. As a man on
he's going for a rear something.
I
don't think he's going to get
straddle puss. He's doing the straddle puss.
He's just going to pull him down far enough.
I think this is a reverse Boston crab.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Just for not having a mask? For no mask? Are you fucking serious?
Boyfriend speaks up.
Easy potty mouth. No, that's not her boyfriend. Because he would have way more knowledge of how that kerfuffle started, wouldn't he?
It's definitely the boyfriend. I did my research.
All right. Okay.
It's definitely the boyfriend, bud.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's rad and
I don't
weird.
make the rules.
Man, that is bizarre.
So, yeah, no, it's not an open and shut case. But I thought I'd just mention it that on that particular one, I sort of found myself on the other side. I was favouring suspect and favouring giving the cop a fucking bit of his own medicine, to be honest. A little bit more of the story is that she had already explained that she's exempt. She's got a doctor's note. And her boyfriend explains that to the cop. In the next 30 seconds, if you were to continue, don't continue. It's a boring thing. I'll give you the rundown. And so
I
the
just
boyfriend's
love
going,
how he's so enraged like a millennial. How dare you? How dare you? It's like you should be putting me on the camera and get into heaven.
He's really not helping.
Get to heaven and get tased. Minimum get tased. They probably shoot him if he's white.
If it's a woman you love, you fucking oath. If it's a woman you love, then you're going to go in there. Maybe you don't kick his head off. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's a bit drastic. But
you get physical and you put the phone down and you prop it up against a wall so it's watching you first. Just go, hold on a hot minute, and just walk over and put it down. And then put it so it's filming. It's like, you touch that fucking camera, I'll sue you. Let's go. Mutual combat. It should be... And then he'll get shot. And then he'll start the revolution. Because you guys are being used as a weather balloon to see if they can roll this out on everyone. And if you guys get out in the streets and act like Erdogan when that coup happened and he emptied out the mosques and they all filled the streets, He showed the power of mass zombie actification when he released the mosques. You remember that when there was like a Brennan-led coup on in
No,
Turkey?
no, I'm trying to remember.
Dude, he got like
No,
30,000
I
people
remember
in
there
the
was a
armed
coup. I
forces.
remember there was a coup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Coup
and what happened?
in Turkey. Let's see if Twitter knows about this. Only direct. I don't know. But no. Erdogan was going to be forced out of power in Turkey by a coup. And it was a military one. The military was trying to take control of the country, and because Erdogan had
Yep.
sided with the Muslim Brotherhood and all the Sunnis and supporting ISIS and everything, he had all the mosques on his side. Because it's if you have mosque cred, you can mass activate Muslim zombies, right? And they filled the streets,
Yes.
and it was like Allah said to do what Erdogan wants. Okay, Allah said it. Let's go. And the whole street's emptied, and these like 30,000 officers, 30,000 coup attempters that were in the military. My numbers could be off by a factor of 100 here. I don't know. But there was a lot. And they all got swarmed by just a mass of people. And it's like, do I shoot my own family or do I put down the AK? And a lot of them just put down the AK.
So who were the good guys? The ones who were trying
I
to
don't know
rule
who
him?
the good guys were. I honestly, there
So
was a
yeah,
lot of. Pardon?
I actually watched a series. I watched a series about this. It was a fictional, drama series.
Mhm.
It was based around one of the special forces, the Turkish Army Special Forces teams.
Yep.
And I guess it was only one season, and then it's left as a cliffhanger with the coup beginning.
Yep.
And, jets getting involved and dropping bombs and shit, and no one knows what's on who. Anyway, it was actually really, really good. I can't wait for the second series.
Nice.
And that's where I get all my information. I'd rather get my information from that because I can actually sort of follow it and realize that it's not really clear cut who's the good guys and bad guys. There's
There's
a lot of
factions. There's factions. A lot of
skullduggery
this,
going on.
a lot of
Yeah,
it is
well,
neocons in
and
their
double
last gasp.
agents and moles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the gist I got from this fictional program was that the average Turks are very, very patriotic in a MAGA sense,
Mm-hmm.
just like, MAGA people love America.
Mm-hmm.
The average Turks really love Turkey, like willing to die for it regardless of religion, just for in the same way an Aussie would die for his flag or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe more so. It's a big part of their culture. So the special forces guys are they don't ever mention Islam. They are probably Muslims because they're all Turks, so they're all going to be Muslims. But they're drinking a lot. They're drinking a lot of beer for Muslims, and it seemed like they were the good guys. They were just doing their job, sort of thing. But the bad guys were the ones who had really infiltrated. They'd created a deep state within Turkey, and the leader isn't called Erdogan. He's fictional, but the scenario is based on the real events. If that makes sense, they've just changed the names to simplify it.
Yeah.
And
He
so-
sided
and so,
with
I mean-
religion to protect his power, and he could have gone secular. He watched which way the wind was blowing.
Yeah,
And they all watched Saddam, and Saddam was encountering problems when he cracked down on Islam. But when he started, revitalizing Iraq and making it more, Quran friendly, then he got
is
a
that
lot
right?
of support back. Oh yeah, he was like a secularist for a
is
while.
that right? Though? I mean, let's do the far left Noam Chomsky thing for a 2nd and let's say that if the deep state in America and the CIA and the globalists had simply left Saddam alone, that he would have been doing just fine economically, culturally. He would have been like a Putin. He would have been like a strong-armed popular dictator almost.
Yeah.
Even though he's Sunni, or he's whichever he is, he's the minority in Iraq, I think. Is that right? Yeah, he's Sunni and Iraq is majority Shia. Is that right?
It's majority Shia, and
I know.
like
I know you're right.
Anbar province into like I think the northwest is more Sunni. But
there's areas. That's right.
But
And that's why Iran have always fought war. I mean, what do you think about that theory? That if the deep state weren't and the bankers and the World Monetary Fund or whatever, IMF or whatever it's called, International Monetary Fund. If all those guys weren't doing all their fuckery, then do you think really he would have had a trouble with a secular, society, and he would have to sort of appease the Muslims? I don't think so, because I think back in the 70s and 80s, same as all those Arab countries, we were seeing universities with girls walking around in short skirts, local girls and blonde Western girls who are coming there because it's basically fucking equivalent to any other Western country in a lot of senses. You remember, all the pictures I'm talking about that we see from all these countries, even Afghanistan, we see these pictures.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's not quite that simple, but
it's, dude, to go back and to Monday morning quarterback where it all went wrong with the deep state and clandestine activities of the United States. You'd have to go way back. You'd have to go. The first guy who tried to do it got killed for trying to do it. So Kennedy wanted to be the white knight that dismantled the monster that was growing with the deep state. And it's pretty clear that Lyndon Baines Johnson was the head benefactor, most to gain from the death of JFK, and a hitman who he
was the beneficiary.
That's why I love Roger Stone, because Roger Stone did a great fucking book. I didn't read the book, but his presentation on it for the JFK assassination, I've never heard a theory that works better than his, because LBJ was from Texas, high connections to Texas organized crime, who had big connections in Cuba, who the CIA was partnered up with, and well in the Senate, LBJ was the biggest funder of the CIA, so the CIA fucking love him at a time where JFK was talking about defunding the CIA. There's a whole lot more acronyms coming. It's like every step that was taken after JFK was killed, the 5 future presidents were in Dallas that day. You know what I mean? The head chief of staff for LBJ got away with murdering a man. Got away with murdering a man in Texas, one of 20 murders, I think, that year. And he was the only one to get out while being called guilty. Can't remember it, but you'd easily search it as Roger Stone. We'll search it. Yeah. But yeah, so he had this like hitman as his chief of staff. And the hitman, because his daughter was dating some like some drug addict that was bad for politics. Pardon?
I was just saying Bush was definitely there, but I don't think any of the other, like Reagan wasn't there.
No, but like Ford
Reagan was probably
and
still a fucking movie star, wasn't he?
There was no, Reagan wasn't there. I don't think Reagan was there. Maybe he was. Who was after him? Ford, Nixon. It wouldn't have been that softy puss from the late 70s, Carter. But I think it was Bush, HW, and that's a shady. Is it HW? Holy crap. I smoked a big J.
We reckon HW might have been one of it. Well, he's probably HW is the dad.
Yeah, Herbert Walker.
HW is the dad.
Herbert Walker was like a CIA dude. It was like, goes without saying. Of course, you're not going to say he is. Just like you say, Christopher Steele is an MI6. He's retired?
I'm saying HW probably ran the whole fucking op of the kill.
Well, apparently
he's the fucking boss man.
Yeah, the CIA, the military, the pressures that were against what JFK was openly saying he was going to do, with like dismantling the deep state, because he knew that the bureaucracy was taking over the presidency, where you had to do what they were saying or they would sabotage you and release photos of you with like 17 chicks, right? And they knew that they could just be ruined with these levers of power that were given to appointees that had extra long appointment times. So he knew it was going to, and he wasn't perfect. He did the same thing Nixon did of like getting tax records and using them to blackmail his political opponents. The left talks about like, oh, how do we know Barr isn't just Trump's like henchman? It's like fucking JFK had his brother, literal brother, as the attorney general, right? So Obama's guy saying, Eric Holder saying, yeah, I'm his wingman, and all's making jokes like, oh, Michelle has her way with me, like just that type of talk, and the media darlings love that. But when it comes to Trump, it's like, Barr's your henchman, I don't care. You're a liberal?
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. Yeah. No, it reminds me of was it Brennan? Brennan speaks like that as well, but no, it wasn't him. It was, what's that fucking Who's that dickhead who said we've got 7 ways from Sunday to get back at you? Clapper, is it?
No,
Is
that's
that Clapper?
it was the Senator Schumer. Senator Schumer said that.
Schumer, that's it.
Yeah.
Fucking dickhead. What a big
Oh
mouth
yeah, he's a
fucking,
piece of shit.
what a
And
loser.
these guys, you can just tell the people
Now,
that were
obviously,
most involved with the overthrow of Trump and most involved in this establishment that had been building since LBJ restored it, right? Saved it from, it's like JFK was the Frodo that almost threw the ring in the fire to, save the CIA
good
because
call.
you
Yeah,
become a prisoner of your mistakes,
he
right?
was the Bilbo.
Yeah, he was the Bilbo, and then the
Yep.
Frodo was Trump, and the Frodo will actually be Bill Barr.
And so you're saying that he was about to go ahead, bring him down, and allow them to release whatever dirt they had on him, and he was just going to wear it. He was just going to man
He was
up and go,
talking to
"Yep,
people
I fucked a
about the
bunch of
power
bitches."
of the deep state and the power that giving bureaucratic oversight to people in Washington would naturally give.
Yeah, no, I'm
Who
familiar with
doesn't
his.
agree that human institutions
Familiar with
corrupt over
his.
time, right? They corrupt over time. You become a prisoner of your mistakes, and your foreign policy in Iraq had to be rectified because the mistake you made sent a message to the KGB and the rest of them that, or the NSVD or whatever they call it now, and it sent a message to them that your intelligence service is weak. So, look, Saddam, we had the last laugh. There will be no more rogue CIA operatives that we put in power. It was just a personal mistake correction that they had to manipulate the media. They had to use Sir Richard Dearlove, who was the head of MI6, to remember the yellow cake fiasco? Remember, we found yellow cake uranium that's going to
No.
be used for weapons of mass destruction. No, but that's a lie, and that lie came from a Steele dossier. But before Steele, it was Richard Dearlove, the head of MI6. They said, we need this fake proof to be ginned up that
I don't remember
Iraq
all
is
this stuff,
making
man.
Iraq's making weapons of mass destruction. And Sir Richard Dearlove says, okay, I'll write a dossier. They actually fucking called it a dossier back then. And they said, this dossier alleges yellow cake. So what do they need to gain against Trump? Well, we have nothing and we're in big trouble. We need a dossier. Sir Richard Dearlove, and he's involved in it. Richard Dearlove was like, I believe that the credentials of Mr. Steele are impeccable. Like he threw in his hat to just make the rumors have more flow when they needed them to, right? So it's hilarious, and I remember tweeting about all this shit, and then like. As soon as I kept mentioning Mifsud and a bunch of other key words that, of course, they're going to tell Jack, hey, we've got some algorithms for you. So if you ever see Mifsud, if you ever see Halper, if you ever see these words, especially if you see Eric Caramella, who's like the whistleblower that they had to make up stories about Trump Ukraine, which no one cares about because journalistic malfeasance misreports reality to you. So no one's upset that the whistleblower that they used to impeach Trump was making it all up. And not just that, the reason he could bring his whistleblower complaint forward was because it's like an Ashcroft type name, was the IG Atkinson.
I don't think that went any further though, did it?
No, there was an
That didn't
Inspector
go anywhere.
Atkinson.
That was a nothing burger, wasn't it?
I know, but there was an Inspector Atkinson who Trump
No,
appointed.
I'm talking about the Eric fella.
Yeah, but I'm talking
about the Eric fella.
Yeah, Eric Caramella.
What did he claim? Is he the one who claimed he heard it across the room, a telephone call? Is that the same thing?
He was admitting hearsay only because the guy who was taking his whistleblower complaint, the Inspector General of the intelligence community, Atkinson, was reset the form that he fills out because the form says that this person must have direct knowledge and not hearsay, secondhand, right? So he changed that to be like, you may use hearsay. Like, that's how they did it. That's how they created this outright lie. And then they had people hint towards big evidence, like Schiff was the king of it, and other people going, oh, well, the call, wait till you hear the transcript. And then Trump goes, okay, here, release the transcript. And then they're like, well, it took this transcript, the call was 30 minutes.
That was a totally different claim, wasn't it? It wasn't to do with the call to the Ukraine fella. I think that the Eric whistleblower guy.
Maybe it wasn't.
Didn't he claim that he overheard? I could be wrong. I could be thinking of someone else. That he claimed he heard a phone call from across the room, and he could hear enough of the loudspeaker that he could hear both sides of the phone call. And this is the one where they didn't know who Trump was talking to, but they assume it was an official,
The Ukrainian
Ukrainian
president.
official, or
Yeah. Or prime minister, whatever the fuck
they
it is.
assume this isn't the actual call that was transcripted, and this is a call on his mobile, Trump's on the mobile phone, and he said I could hear him saying, is this the right one? Where he goes, oh, give us everything you got. Give me, what did he say? It was almost like that scene in fucking the movie fucking with the one-armed man where he goes, I want you to search every house, every outhouse, dog house, hen house, chicken house, fucking brothel, whatever. Remember that?
Yeah.
And
For
so the
dirt
claim
on
was
Biden?
the claim
Was
was
that the claim?
It might have been on Biden, or it might have been. Well, no, it has to be on Biden, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what the
It's got nothing
impeachment
to
was
do with
critical
terrorists.
to was that Trump was
So this is
asking
another.
Ukraine to
So
go
what
after
I'm saying
Biden.
is, no, but what I'm suggesting is that the Sierra Mella fella, he really is making a second accusation that's not really the same accusation as Russiagate.
Mm-hmm.
It's either another separate phone call with a similar kind of, wrongdoing, which is to cooperate.
I think they were both different components. I think Caramello, whatever you pronounce his name, was just the way to get
because
the
he came around
investigation going where they could get the transcripts that they needed. It was like they needed a complaint issued to be able to listen in, and then
he comes in later.
I don't know, probably.
No, the original phone call. The original phone call was in the first weeks of the presidency.
No. I'm talking about after Mueller. After Mueller. No. After Mueller, there was an impeachment push to impeach Trump for a phone call made to Ukraine where he allegedly asked Ukraine to give him dirt on Biden. But on inspection, that claim turned out to be grossly exaggerated, and the source of it was a whistleblower, Eric Caramella, who the internet will probably ban this video if that pronunciation triggers anything.
Do you see how they've convoluted it to the point that normal people can't follow the story anymore?
Oh yeah, it's a barrage. Shotgun.
Is that that's an actual one of their tactics, isn't it? It's like
I'm sure
gaslighting. It's like a shock and awe of gaslighting. It's like gaslighting so much you can't even keep the stupid fucking fanciful story straight.
It's bombarded with stories, bombarded with Snopes angles, bombarded with like 3,000 lies PolitiFact's checking. There's no one in there that in their normal day has enough time to fact check this stuff unless they're intensely interested in politics and, power, which I think is pretty interesting. I think the Trump age is something where if you don't get it, I feel like I don't know what you're viewing in reality. You must feel like you're in a hellscape of just lunacy, where I view it, I'm like, oh, the rats are cornered. We knew this was coming.
You know where I stand, bro. You know that I'm not quite as fucking horny about Trump as everybody else is.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's by far the best chance you have, right? It's like the West, dude. If no one shows like nationalism works, he's a beacon of showing nationalism works. And it will eventually silence the people that go, anyone who's right wing is a white nationalist who wants to enslave us and put the Jews into ovens again. So you put the Jews into ovens again, that's going to get some sort of algorithm bite.
I think you're safe with 20 subs there, bro.
I guess probably.
To be clear, and just put on the record with you, fucking love Trump. Loved him from the moment he started speaking his fucking vision for America. Agree with all of it. He can't be. I actually, for one moment, I considered the fact that he could actually be intentionally in on it with them, and it could be the biggest fucking heartbreaking psyop of all time to give false hope and give a champion and a hero, and then he turns out to be a betrayer, and that would just shatter the human spirit. Unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. Fortunately, that's not possible. It can't be the case because the message he's pushed and the movement he's created is real and it is legit. And they don't talk about any bad things. It's all positive: liberty, freedom, prosperity, law and order. All the good stuff, right? Just fucking all you can eat, fucking absolute, delicious stuff.
Yeah.
So I always have to remind myself of that when I see him, as Alex Jones used to say, siding up with goblins and maybe cuddling some goblins and maybe kissing some goblins, so long as I don't catch him in bed with the goblin.
Mm-hmm.
And we could go on about Alex Jones. There's more. He's acting a bit weird lately too, but that's totally another topic.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
When he says shit like that, Alex Jones.
I think I don't
But
know.
when Alex Jones
He
says
might
shit
be
like
right,
that,
dude.
I'm like,
The Sun
he's
Tzu
100% right.
math, the Sun Tzu math right now is off the charts that they are trying to take out any influencers on the right ahead of the election. So Alex Jones is right to be worried about every
Well,
fucking
absolutely.
breath that he utters because they're targeting him. And he said that he saw Millie Weaver and her husband or whatever in D.C. for an event and that they were with Flynn's son, who's got a nuke target on his back. If Flynn is allowed to operate freely in the White House, their coup will unravel in a minute. He knows where every body is buried, so they must make it completely illegal for him to have contact with them, even if it takes their Judge Sullivan just going rogue and completely being like, I know that the DOJ ordered me
Flynn's
to,
been exonerated. Flynn's...
No, but they're keeping the lawfare up by making the judge not
right,
instate the pardon or instate the dropping of the case by the DOJ. So the DOJ tells the judge, like the Attorney General says, yep, shut her down. You guys withheld exculpatory evidence, you butchered this, and there is no crime for which he is a part of. Like, you didn't even demonstrate a bank was robbed, yet you're accusing him of robbery. So you're accusing him of obstructing a robbery case where a bank never got robbed. Okay, so that's unraveling, and this judge has to stop.
No, they're accusing him. To be technical, they're accusing him of pleading guilty to obstruction.
And then not being able to retract
the other because they.
Sorry,
they can retract the original thing that they sweated him on. They don't even need to ever mention that again because he then pled guilty to falsifying statements to Congress not to Congress to investigators. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was.
He pled guilty to. He didn't want his son's security record to be audited because his son's starting a security firm, a private, like a Blackwater type deal.
They duped him at every stage. They had a misfiled Clara violation, I think it's called that, where it's how you deal as a foreign actor with other countries. And they had a lawyer purposely sabotage that, not on his account. He said to the lawyer, "Is this done?" They're like, "Yeah, it's done." He had a target on his back from Obama, and every branch of the executive was targeting him. They threw Halper at him in 2015 before they even knew he was associated with Trump because he was honest with the media when the media said, "Is Iraq safer after 2014?" And he said no. And so Obama said, "I'm going to fucking hammer you with everything we got." So they send Halper to make him have dinner with a Russian girl no, that's not her. But she's she works at Cambridge University.
This is what, 2014, 2015?
This is 2015. And they made a girl at Cambridge University. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. No, that's all I was...
Cool.
What era was this happening?
So Halper...
Late Obama...
Yeah, Halper is the FBI's do-everything guy. If they need him to plant info on someone or get two people to meet so they can use that as a pretext to further spy on you by saying, well, we got photos of him with this other Russian that we're following, so Judge, come on, let's hear his phone records. That's what they do. So Halper arranges this girl...
How corrupt are these judges? Because that's nothing.
Oh, I know, yeah. But they
I'm just saying, how fucking shitty are these judges? That's all that they need.
Yeah, judges are appointed, right? I mean, imagine an Obama-appointed judge. Imagine a CIA-run president like Obama is not appointing a judge based on credentials. He's appointing a judge based on someone who, woke up with a dead hooker beside them that the CIA wants him to appoint. So, yeah, you're our judge, but when we need you to nullify Trump's Muslim ban, we need you to activate you. And he's like, oh, okay. So I guess Sullivan is one of these guys from the establishment era who has all the bona fides of I'm a justice-loving, everything's great with me, but he always goes the way they want in the end. And he can just veer it that way. And now that they're desperate and Flynn's about to be released, they need to keep the process going long enough. They need to ensure it lasts past the election, which they plan to cheat to win. Like, they are max cheat mode. They have nothing to lose. They have everything to lose, actually. They have the entire world
Well, they're not
structure
trying
they've
to
been
win, are
developing
they?
for 70
What do you
years.
think they got? What
With Canada, I mean, we're
What do you
just...
think their goal is? Because hey, it's certainly not their goal right now. It certainly couldn't possibly be a Biden victory. They must be trying to either take Trump out. They've probably given up with the legal courts. They probably
It's
want to
always been
assassinate
stalled,
him,
dude. It's always
and
been
then
stalled for 4 years.
get Pelosi
Hmm?
for for another 4 years.
Well,
Is
they
that what you're
want...
saying? Because I think they're going to try and.
They just want someone in there.
He's
The more
power, surely.
senile
They're gonna
you
try
are,
and
the
get
better.
Pelosi in there, right?
They're really panicking about Joe not being able to read properly. Like
But he's never going to win,
it
bro.
takes him
He
10.
can't win, bro. He cannot win.
Oh, by
He can't
cheating
win.
he can. By cheating he
He
can.
can't win. They can't cheat it. No, they can't cheat it. No one will believe it.
Yeah. Well,
Then again, we've just had coronavirus. We've just everyone's showing
it's
their true
not.
colors.
They
They're
don't
very
need to
easily
cheat.
fucking
They don't
read.
need to cheat in California. They don't need to cheat that bad there. But in counties that are close and in states that are close,
No,
they
there's
will
only-
need to
how
do
many
what they
swing
always
states?
do. No. They've done what they always do.
How many
They're
swing
on
states are
camera.
there?
Project Veritas has exposed them on camera saying, "Oh, we shuttle illegal immigrants across border, and because you don't need ID, we just know who they're going in as." We're like, "You're Carlos Ortega, and you died 4 years ago, but they didn't update the voter rolls. Go vote." And they are on camera admitting that they do this. Now, I bet that the
You're
Republicans
Taylor.
did this too, but Trump is neither. Trump is neither Democrat nor Republican in the establishment sense. So he's an outsider that gets none of these benefits or favors. The Bush guys that used to cheat for Bush will probably
We
cheat
know
for
the
the other guy.
Republicans. We know the Republicans did that.
Yeah, but they have no incentive to do that for Trump
Yeah,
because
well,
they're the Paul
The
Ryans.
Republicans definitely did some dodgy shit to get him.
Yeah. It's gross, eh?
No,
I don't
which
like...
one he
Yeah.
is, yeah.
I don't like politics
So there's a lot
talk
of
anymore as much as I used to because it's like, yeah, Trump, yeah, Trump.
What's the deal with Ted Cruz?
I like Roger Stone's take on Ted Cruz, which Stone's book talks about him. He's a Bush. All the interest groups that backed George H.W. and George Jr. He's a Texas oil-owned, war industry-owned guy who pretends he's an outsider like Trump. He's a great chameleon. He's got an incredibly high IQ. He's got an incredibly high IQ, but he's a snake, but he's also a snake you can work with. Yeah, he's a rat, but no, he's not. Dude, I don't know. I just know what Roger Stone tells me, and he says that he does an amazing job at pretending he's not establishment, but when you look into his donor lists and the interests he represents, it's all fucking Bushy. It's all Bush people. So,
who are the Republicans that we like? Who are the good guys in the party?
The best guy is Devin Nunes and Jim Jordan are tied for the best. They're a lot of them are in Congress.
Jordan, I've seen him.
Yeah, Louis Gohmert is a judge.
Jordan's
He's
good.
very smart. It's all Tea Party guys. So Andrew Breitbart spearheaded and fought the media for the Tea Party movement, which we all thought was dumb, and we're like, yeah, Sarah Palin thinks she can see Russia. Truth is, she could because it was talking about islands that were close to each other, right? So the media I remember when I was an elitist liberal going, ha ha ha, she thinks you can see Russia. What a fool! And then when I found out that it really was just an island.
There was a huge...
Yeah, they made a huge dummy deal out of that, and we all felt good and smart laughing at her. No, she's not the greatest. She's not even that smart. But the things people value in a politician, if you're an elitist leftist, you're an absolute retard when it comes to what you value in a politician. It's like, oh, he needs to sound like a statesman. That'll impress people. No, Nixon actually indiscriminately bombed Cambodia just to appear like a madman who you don't know what I'll do next, so you better not do stuff. Right? It was... valuing how a guy talks into a camera lets you get Obama, you know? And no one even knows his crimes. You have to go to Project Cassandra, who Politico did a massive piece on how Obama handed Central and South America to Hezbollah so he could get a deal with Iran done on nukes. So he cut a deal with Iran where you don't guarantee any inspections. They can tie you up with red tape and go, okay, on this date we'll let you in. by the time we hollow out another mountain to centrifuge uranium in. And so it's just a fucking, I don't know. It's too big of a topic. I could go on so many tangents that I'd rather watch cat videos. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
All right,
interesting,
so
but it's just so depressing when you think, like, no
back to
matter
the
what you
election.
say, no one will
I'll just-
ever. Sorry, go.
Listen. No, well, I'll just ask questions, layman questions, which
Yeah.
are legitimate questions for me because I'm not in depth the way you are. So
Yeah.
back to the election.
Yeah, keep me on track.
I'll stick with I'll stick with my gut feeling, which is I don't think they're intending to win. I think that they're trying to appear to almost be running a campaign, although even that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, it's hardly really a campaign at this point. It's fucking just pathetic. It's beyond pathetic. And
Yep.
even the choice of Kamala Harris made no sense. Not popular.
Yep.
She's gonna
it's-
cost them votes. They could have put anyone.
I agree. I
Could have
think
been
it's
anyone, man.
I think
Would have
it's to
been better.
delegitimize the process and hide in the ashes of civil unrest, or in the smoke. I mean, not ashes. But it
now
will
it's
be
working.
ashes. But so I think
No.
just like I thought the point of Mueller.
Same thing with the mailing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the same thing with Mueller is I think they'll cheat. I think they will do it. They have maximum incentive to cheat. Maximum incentive. Even the Republican cheaters will join the Democrat cheaters to cheat Trump out. Because a lot of people will hang if the chain reaction starts going of, well, who told you to do that? What? State Department was involved? They shouldn't be involved in this. Then they go to State Department. What? The White House directly? Michelle Big Mike? And they'll follow the thread, and it ties everyone up. Like there was a quote allegedly ascribed to Hillary Clinton, I think, when she was like off stage somewhere, going, "If Trump wins, we'll all hang." And it's true. And that's like a threat to her buddies. Like, don't rat, don't flip, don't do this. All their stuff is like peacocking to be like, think how many foreign interests paid on Saudis paid 150 million to the Clinton Foundation, I think. A lot. A fucking lot. And they want a return on the investment, and what they got was Trump. And so all the princes she bought.
I hope they kept their receipt.
Yeah, I know, right? I hope they hope they burnt it. And so that's why like Russia and shit is kind of silent on Trump. Like they shouldn't. It's why they haven't sold Hillary up shit creek, because they used Hillary. They bought her and Bill to exfiltrate. I don't know if I'm using that right. I don't know.
That makes sense.
To
Yeah,
take
I'm
out
following
info for their Skolkovo operation, which is
Well,
the
no, hang on.
Silicon Valley
I'll
for
put it
Russia. Okay, so Silicon Valley equivalent in Russia is this Skolkovo project. Pause. Yeah.
Pause, because you're going to go down another.
You're right. You're right.
tangent. I need background info on the previous.
Yeah, man,
bit.
for sure.
No, you've got to go slow for me. All right, so a working theory might be that, okay, we didn't want to lock her up, even though we could have. After Comey had done fucking song and dance and whatever, Mueller, once that was over, honestly, Trump could have moved in and started prosecuting.
No. Trump is
Hillary
50 guys.
for the
Trump is 50
emails,
guys.
which isn't even a Trump prosecution.
Trump is 50
I know,
guys.
I
The
know,
deep
but
state for the
here's
last
my
70 years
working
is
theory,
about
and you just-
10,000 to 50,000. Warm Coke. But
here's the Machiavellian thing to do: is don't investigate her and just let her sweat the pressure from all of her fucking donors. That's another thing, because that will benefit the good. That will benefit the good guys in other areas.
yeah.
And obviously, probably Las Vegas had something to do with all of that. It must have. I reckon Vegas has something to do with money laundering and money transferences between deep state and CIA kill teams, black book guys, and the deep state, the baddies.
Yeah.
It has to.
Could be. I know it's
'Cause, I mean,
way
good guys,
shadier
we know
than a
that-
guy.
You know that.
It's way
we know
shadier than a
CIA
guy
is
with a
black book
laptop with no hard drive. You know? With no motive, no hard drive in his computer that
Well,
he
we
brought to the
know-
hotel room. Like,
We
it's
know
been
CIA
completely
is
tampered with.
segregated, Yeah, I know about all that. Yeah, I know about all that. The whole thing was dodgy. I mean, he had cameras set up in the hallway, and he had like laser tripwires and stuff. and none of that footage has come out. Not even the
Oh
not
yeah.
even the
Jesus
actual fucking
Campos,
building,
bro.
the actual
Jesus
resort.
Campos. Try ever finding that guy again. You know where
But
Jesus Campos is? He's on
sorry,
the island in Lost. Okay, they've put him on an island in
I
Lost, so
don't
he'll
remember
never
who
be.
he is, but I remember the
Okay,
name
Jesus
Campos. Who's he
Campos
again?
was the security guard who allegedly exchanged gunfire with Paddock. So he was a guy that the only photo they had of him right after he was
Oh
declared a
right,
hero was a grainy photo with the sheriffs where he's like he weighs 150 pounds. Okay, then a week later, after traveling to Mexico and back with a assault gun wound leg injury. I know you'll tell me the caliber of the gun is. I don't know. It's from an
it's
assault,
Campos, right?
and assault is not the right term. I know it's not. It's a long. It's a long-barreled deer steer killer. Is that what you call it? So that's what he's got in his leg,
So
and he traveled.
high-powered rifle. That's a high-powered rifle.
It's a high-powered rifle that sent him with this leg injury the next day to Mexico
Yeah.
and back. I don't know why they had to institute that story into it. But then he recovered all week, and at the end of the week, he did Ellen. And within that time, he'd put on about 80 pounds. So he's a
You're
fucking tubby little
joking, man.
little fullback when he does Ellen. And when he's in this grainy photo after
So
getting his medal, he's just
real,
like,
the
dude, he
real
could be an MS-13 stooge. I mean, they
stand
had
up.
like an actor with him, like, and then I was the janitor, and I said, damn, Jesus, this is a fucking gunfight. Like, no, he didn't even sound like that. But I have to do the Alabama accent. And he disappeared.
but it
And
was
of course,
fun, man.
Ellen
I'm
guides the
imagining it
people with
was.
the board. She's got the pointer on the board of like, and then you went into this room, right? This room's pretty crazy to go into, isn't it, Jesus? Yeah, see. You know, and it's like he going through it, and it's like, well, he wants to have his privacy and never wants to be bothered again. So thanks, Jesus. We'll see you never. And we never see him again. And all of the question marks, like, I don't know what to make of it, but I know what to not make of it. And as when you see the sheriff, the first guy, what is it, Lombardi or something, and he gives his first press conference, and he's like, you can be damn sure we're gonna find out every fucking bitch who took part in this. And then the FBI arrives, and the next day he has to give a speech, and he's quivering. He's like, I don't know what we're. I just look. Tomorrow we're gonna have another.
Oh, really?
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
The same
Like he
story.
goes completely deflated, and right behind him is this stone-faced FBI guy that's like, the official story is he enjoyed traveling with a laptop that didn't have hard drives. He had no motive. End of story. Crazy guy. Done. You know. So it looked like a cover-up rather than an investigation from the FBI. I am not an expert, and all the skeptical lights out there will be going, you can't just assume that, bro. You can't. Whatever. I can assume it, and I am assuming it. But there's a guy that pursued it a bit, and I'm not such a fan of his theory, but I'm a fan of his passion for staying with it. I think it's John Hoover is his name, and he had a theory about Saudi mini helicopters. Okay? That was his theory. So music concert, pretty loud.
What's a mini helicopter?
I don't know. I'm
What's a
picturing the
mini
thing from
helicopter?
MASH, like picking up patients. I'm picturing a little bubble copter. So I'm
Nah,
thinking
it'll be
bubble
the little-
copters.
it'll be
It'll be
the
like
little
that little
black
spider
ones.
thing in Magnum PI that they island hop on. Okay?
No,
That little thing.
no.
Remember
It'll
when they
be
have
like
like
the-
two
the little
guys
black
jump
ones.
down in
The
Black
little
Hawk
black ones
Down?
out of Black Hawk Down.
Little helicopter, okay?
The little black ones, maybe. The little black ones, yeah, maybe.
That's his theory. Little black ones with machine guns on them, more than one. And it had to do with a Saudi prince who was losing power after Trump took over. And I think he was like a pro Hillary Saudi prince was
So one thing
trying
at a time,
to assassinate.
One thing at a time. So his theory.
I'm just stating his
Hang on,
theory. I
one
think
thing
it's
at a time.
weird.
So his theory is that his theory is that all of the shots came from either one or multiple helicopters and not out of that window. Is that
Not out
correct,
of the window
Shotgun?
at all. And he claims that there's no broken window in that main fight. Remember how there's two broken windows? One was like he took a pot shot at the fuel tanks. Okay? There's like jet fuel tanks
Yeah.
behind the concert venue.
There's
And the
the
one
main
window
front
break was
window.
him firing the first
The
shot at
window
that.
outside.
So he pops one or two through that window, then he
Yeah.
goes to the other window. That other window is the main kill window. And
Those windows-
apparently the
Both
footage.
those windows weren't shot through.
No, one of
Both
them
of those
was.
windows weren't shot through. They were
The first
smashed
was.
right out with a chair. Like
Something like that. I don't know.
they were broken right open. So you're saying that the whole that whole suite at the hotel is a staged crime scene?
I'm
That's
saying
like the book depository. It's a staged
I don't
scene.
think it's staged. I think it's a
It's a
botched. Uh, I don't know. What I think is, if I had to guess, and I ascribed like 5% probability to it, I would say that Paddock was an FBI/CIA helper type who was trying to set up an arms deal, which was really a bait trap by a foreign Saudi prince to butcher the CIA asset as a message to Brennan and his guys that they can't fuck with Trump or something like that, right? I don't know. And then this guy with his Saudi theory says like, oh, the Prince Walid Shazam owns the fucking top 4 floors. I'm like, well, the top 4 floors is not where this happened. But whatever, dude. I don't want to prove anything true. I don't know enough for that, but I love how many errors there are intentionally. Like, why is the footage all missing? Why can't we see Jesus Campos go, oh, fuck? You know, there's cameras fucking everywhere in a hotel. You know, casino hotel, we should be able to see every moment if there was nothing to hide, but there is something to hide. So I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a bunch of Saudis walking into the room and going, fuck you, we know you're CIA, poo, grab the guns, take out some concert goers, right? That's probably my theory if I had to like pick one.
Clearly the whole event is a complete clusterfuck and none of it's legit.
Mm-hmm.
None of the investigation is legit. So either good guys at the top are saying, no, we're onto this. You little local Mr. Man, just leave it to us. And don't worry, we're not covering this up. We're fucking doing a thorough investigation and we're onto who did this.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's the bad guys are in control and they're just like saying the same thing. Yeah, don't worry, little Mr. Local Man, you shut the fuck up, or we'll fucking rape your wife and children in front of you. And that's why he was, you know, clearly shaken on the second, the second press conference.
Yeah.
Now, this just reminds me of fucking Sandy Hook. Not that there was a good guy who'd clearly been pressured, but just that everything about the entire event was wrong. Not one aspect of it made any logical sense at all.
Nice.
You know,
enlighten me. I never looked into it because people were so conditioned to dismiss you for even mentioning Sandy Hook that I'm like, why would I have interest in looking into this hoax? Right, these people already have a hard time believing Trump is a good human.
Let's say 50 people died at Vegas. I guess, 20 or 30 little kids died
kids
at
and teachers,
Sandy Hook.
right?
So it's as bad, maybe not quite. It's as bad, it's slightly less numbers, but they're more horrific because they're little babies, right? Single shooter. Both of them, we will never get any evidence. Everything's been swept clean afterwards. Good luck finding any of the people involved.
The school was demolished.
All
the house was demolished.
Yeah, there's some theories that say the whole fucking town was dodgy from the beginning, and that the whole town is kind of either in on it, or they're a cult, or they're operatives, or they're what do they call them? Like sleeper cells, like one big sleeper cell. Who knows? Who knows? But one thing's definitely for sure in both of those cases, those events. Anyone who just goes, yeah, well, it was a guy. It was that guy. They told us, you know. That what else? What do you expect from him? Can you imagine David Bishop's take on this on Vegas? You'd be like, well, what do you expect, man? The guy's dead. There's the guns he used. You know.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of.
I mean,
Occam's razor dictates that the limited number of moving parts explanation should be preferred over the more complex. Like he'll just go into what elitist skeptics, quote unquote skeptics, do is in times where there's not people as crazy as Hillary Clinton and the 70-year deep state of rotting establishment in America, you would believe them as it's gonna be. We've got to prefer the explanation that the shooter acted alone and there was no shooter on the grassy knoll. That's Occam's razor. That's Hume's law. That's they will go into that. And it allows them to really not think about things because it's like, I dismiss this. Are you kidding me? I bet you watch Alex Jones. I bet you. And they just go through their little thing of like, this is how much I don't listen to. You know, who's got time for this conspiracy mumbo jumbo? It's all, you know, just a way of protecting themselves against you. Okay, fine. If it is, then you can hear me. No, I can't hear you. You listen to Alex Jones. I'm not listening. Bye. You know, and they'll block you and do something like, I don't know. It's hard for them to interpret reality when it's exposed that they were actually doing these things. Very complex conspiracies have been overturned. Like, you can't hide from the fact that Mueller pretended there was a case against Trump for 2 years when after a month he knew that Trump was completely innocent of any connections with Russia. Okay? It's for 2 years he went on doing this. And they just went on going, well, it couldn't be a conspiracy. I mean, there's too many moving parts. There's just too many moving parts. You know, it's like, no, there is. These things corrupt. They're appointed by corrupt people. Of course, they're going to be corrupt. We just showed you a ring of Epstein and all the people he took to a pedophile island. It's fucking corrupt. They have a network of how they compromise you to bring you into this club, and then you fuck with shit. And then you can kill anyone because you can get the DA in that town to go, no, the police didn't put a rubber glove on before they reached up your ass. You know, and then they'll say, you're off. And they'll find any technical, and of course, they never think, like, they'll be like, no, there's a totally good reason for that. And then they cite the criminal's answer. And it's like, do you think that these people would commit a crime and not have a story to tell? And do you not think it's a little strange that all the news organizations are telling the debunked story that these guys are selling? Like, you can still go to CNN and you'll see them, if it comes across my wires were tapped at Trump Tower, they will say, there's absolutely no evidence for that. And the zombies go, no evidence. I don't need to think anymore. Back to TV, you know? And they just get triggered by the emotional, like, and it's why those David Bishop guys could peddle bullshit for so long, because they're cocky about it. It's like, you can't possibly believe this. But-a-doo-doo. You know, they just coat it with this confidence. And it's like, okay, if you're swayed by that, then fine. But when we enter crazy times, these guys that have relied on Hume's law of low moving parts, they're going to be fucked, and they're going to sound like idiots, and then they're going to go pretend that, you guys all need an internet break. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to tour all the ballparks while you guys discuss bullshit. Because you know what? Politicians are all the same. You know? They just throw up their hands, and they'll never declare defeat. They'll just declare that...
In light of this COVID, this once in the history of humanity clusterfuck of stupidity that we call COVID, don't you think that whole shtick about conspiracy theory, don't you think that's dead in the water now? Can't we just all say, hello, a small handful of people just put the whole fucking world on house arrest for no goddamn reason, good reason. And
sure, you're a doctor, right? I trust the experts, not Taz.
So as far as those two events, they're total false events. I
it's looking that way. It's looking.
I don't know what they're trying to achieve, and therefore I don't know who they're trying to implicate. That's not really a false flag. A false flag is where you set up your enemies to be the guilty parties. These are more like cover-ups, you would call them.
These people will not quit. These people will not quit. They will watch. They will burn the world if Trump wins. They will burn the world rather than be taken alive.
Sandy Hook could have been a gun grab.
Okay.
I think Sandy Hook could have been a gun grab because we know the type of, staged events they use for gun grabs. You saw what happened in New Zealand most recently. We all saw it play out. That was exactly like what they did in Australia in 94, 96, whenever that happened.
Yep. Connecting gun grab might be far for me because I tend to think that like an MK Ultra kid going rogue seems more reasonable to me as a theory. Like, you know what I mean? Like, one of their weapons went off when they didn't play they played the Beethoven record too early, and he got an AK and went down to the local school. You know, I don't know.
Yep.
I just think like my Hume's law.
Here's another possibility. I like your thinking. Here's another possibility very similar, which is that he's not even an actual MK Ultra that's been done by them, but he's got the same fucked up mind just from child abuse, just from sexual abuse as a child. Some of them were never taken to a laboratory and programmed, but they still have the alter they have the alter personality because the uncle has pinned them down at age 5 and tortured them to the point where their fucking personality split. Problem with that is, with Sandy Hook, none of the ME is a madman. Like the coroner, he comes out and he's laughing and huffing and puffing, and you should see the size of these wounds in these babies' bodies. I mean, and he's sweating and he's like eyes are open and he's very strange social interaction, not professional at all, just very a wackadoodle kind of guy. And then you see the helicopter shot, this like a whole tank of fuel of this news chopper hovering in place, not moving, just hovering, exactly like fucking tethered to a single spot. And it goes, so the film runs for fucking an hour, and you see all the parents who have arrived being ushered in and out this building and out around this way and back in this other door and back around, running like figure eights for an hour. Like walking around aimlessly. I can understand that your kids are maybe in such a horrible scenario. That's what you do, is you tell them to just keep walking around, just keep walking circles, and, you know, let us clear the area and we're going to sit down and tell you all what's going on in a moment. But for now, you know, just walk in a circle. It'll keep your mind off it. Maybe it's a survival mechanism, but I've never heard of it. And all the people who are now on scene, most of them are parents, right? And possibly whoever made it out of the building, any teachers or, you know, staff, and they're walking just aimlessly but you know, in a set pattern that goes for an hour, and they keep walking in this one door, out the other fucking door, in another building, and out the other door of the exit of that building.
Did someone get to ask why? Did someone get an answer why they were doing that? Did that question, was that question allowed to be asked? Because I think that's a fair question. Of like, do you know what the rational reason to parade the parents around would be?
Now, let's just go back to Alex Jones just really briefly. He had a look at this because this is his meat and potatoes. This is his fucking right up his ballpark, right up his alley. And he's had a quick look at it, and he goes, oh, I don't know, guys. He's like, it could be a false flag, but it could be a false flag. It could be a double bluff, you know, and or it could just be a legit school shooting. They do also happen, like Virginia Tech. You know, we know a lot about the guys. We know about their past. They wrote it all down, and they are legit little fuckheads who wanted to wipe out all their fucking competition in school. And he didn't really go on. He didn't go in depth. That was all he really said. He didn't go in depth. A lot of his fans went right down the rabbit hole and launched all their own investigations. These are the people who eventually became the Pizza Gators. Okay. Because they're the real citizen fucking investigators, right? And so he, if anything, he distanced himself from that. And I guess he was playing devil's advocate the entire time. He never liked that event. He never wanted to, like, he loved September 11th. He was all over that, all over September 11th. He'd tell you what he thinks it is, tell you all the potential possibilities. Sandy Hook, he didn't want to touch it. He never wanted to touch it. And just like he never wanted to touch Millie's new movie, he just didn't, something was wrong. He didn't like it. Anyhow, long story short.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Look what they did to Alex Jones for asking the handful of tiny questions he did ask. He didn't ask them. They really wanted him to take that bait. He just asked more teeth. Well, all he did was throw a few really common sense, really reasonable questions out to his own audience. All he said was, well, you've asked me to look into this, and I'm not sure what to tell you guys. To be honest, I don't like it. I can't see an angle on this one. Maybe it's a gun grab. But he goes, here's a couple of questions, couple of legitimate questions. Why did the family Photoshop the hell out of their family photos? Why don't they just have normal family photos? And when asked, this is one of the few questions that were asked, the mother said, I just thought everyone did that, to just neaten them up and make them look perfect. I'm like, no, but you've taken a child that wasn't in that fucking photo and sat them down with the rest of the family, and you've changed the background, and you've left artifacts, you know, where your husband's arm's missing, you know, like. And she's like, oh, well, I'm not very good at this stuff. I was just trying to make everyone in the family look perfect. So total lies, right? Wow. She put the little dead girl in the fucking photo with the rest of with the mum and the dad and the other two.
Crisis actor family. Yeah,
Well, they're
that's
they're the
creepy.
real family who are Christ
Yeah, yeah.
characters, and
But it
and the
could have
little
been
dead girl is
a
just some
red
fucking
herring,
poor girl.
a story to get everyone.
One question, I'll be quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be really quick. The other question that no one ever got to ask was why was the medical examiner such a wacky guy?
Yep.
The other question that Alex Jones asked was about the people walking circles. What was that about? And the other question he asked, only to his own audience, was who was that guy that was fucking detained out in the woods wearing camo pants and a black jacket and who was marched, he was disarmed and he was brought in, he was cuffed in the woods and he's walked back down towards where the school is and put in a fucking police vehicle. And before that vehicle took him away, he had a chance to say to the parents, I didn't do it. Whatever happened, it wasn't me. I didn't hurt anyone. I didn't hurt your kids. And we still don't know who he was. Was he law enforcement? Was he off duty? Was he special forces? Was he just a guy in the wrong place at the wrong time? No answers came about that. So these two events are fully were just whitewashed, just swept under the rug. You can't ask questions. Even Vegas, they went with Sandy Hook. They made it so taboo to even mention that they would bring fucking lawsuits against you for even not doubting that it happened, but just asking some questions about, can we get some more clarification on this, please? Can we get some more details? Like even legit questions like, okay, it happened. How was he able to gain entry so easily? Wasn't there meant to be a secure entrance? Isn't that bulletproof glass in that secure zone? Questions like that don't even get answered. So good luck getting any serious questions. And you'll see that Vegas is the exact same. So these two events stand alone, but together, they've got a lot of similarities and that they're very different to all the other events, even the false flag ones. These two are just like,
So
they
no one
don't want to fucking talk about either of these.
No one has looked into who the man arrested was. Like, there's been no. Eric Chalmers lives in a mountain shack. They haven't done a story on this guy that got arrested.
Whoever he was, if he was a normal civilian, or if anything about this event was normal, they would release at least a statement saying, he wasn't involved, he's been questioned, he did cooperate, and we're quite confident he wasn't involved, so he's been released. They may even give his name, or if he's willing to, he may even come out and say, yeah, I was the one arrested, I had nothing to do with it, I cooperated, I was just walking my dog. Whatever. No, none of those answers came out. That means he's either law enforcement or he's an operator of some sort. He was armed, but it is America. A lot of people walk around wearing khaki pants and a black bomber jacket with a pistol. That's not.
Yeah.
But it also would be not unusual if Adam Lanza wasn't really the killer and there was really a kill team.
Is Adam Lanza alive? Did he kill himself at the scene? Feels like this kid's... He's alive? Isn't there a law where you could, like, send him a letter and you could be like, Dear Adam, please go through your carnage with me and just see if his report...
I'm confusing him with the bowl cut guy. The guy
Dylan Roof.
Dylan Roof. He's alive.
Yeah,
but
Lanza was, he killed him. So maybe that was law enforcement. Okay, hear me out. What if Lanza is MK Ultra, does the killing, and then they have him and he's a shriveling wreck going, what the fuck? Who played Beethoven? You guys told me that when Beethoven goes on, I grab the gun and I kill everyone. And then they're like, be calm. And then they call their black hat guy, or they call the police, and then the algorithm goes, oh, MK Ultra's gone off. Call your fucking CIA contact. And then that guy's like, okay, we need a guy in that area. We need a cleanup. And then they send in Camo Pants Man, and then he kills Dylan Roof, and then retreats to the forest and gets arrested. That would be cool. It wouldn't be cool. I mean, the kids being alive would be cool, and the teachers being alive would be cool.
If he's malfunctioning,
once we've accepted the tragedy,
if he is a Manchurian killer, and he's malfunctioning, yeah, you would have to send someone in to cap him. Yeah. If they're not malfunctioning, if they're functioning perfectly, you can quite easily program them to kill themselves at the end of it.
Yeah, he could have killed himself. I'm just trying to explain.
Those alters.
I think it's less
Yeah,
likely
the guy.
that a camo dressed policeman capped everyone. I would tend to believe MK Ultra Kid theory based on the 4 facts of data I've heard from you.
No,
But it's a
well,
great
the
data, man.
problem is,
I like that there's actually some meat there to
well, it
be
gets
like, well,
worse.
why can't we
It gets
ask
worse.
this?
The word, it's actually in some ways worse than Vegas because Vegas, we saw the bodies on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that you can estimate the amount of fucking rounds that we heard go off,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see what a rock concert looks like. You can imagine that that's about right. 50 dead, and
Mm-hmm.
a few wounded. You'd expect that. We really don't know if there even was a school in Sandy Hook. We don't even know if there was any deaths. We don't know if this town isn't just some weird fucking, cult of, or an entire town of MK Ultra. Can you imagine that? Where
Yeah.
every single member of the town is a
Sounds like
successful
a good
candidate.
Netflix series right there. You just wrote it. Although it'd have to be anti-Netflix
They've
because
literally
Netflix are the
done,
guys that probably did
yeah,
Sandy Hook.
right. And you're right. It's all true at once, man. Like, yeah, Netflix are a bunch of cunts. You've seen their latest thing, and we won't go into it, but yeah, fucking pedophilia, just sexualizing little kids and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And another theory I heard was that they're really cutting back on all the old classics, and they want just more new Netflix original content. And
Yeah.
the theory being that they're just trying to wipe out our cultural history, and there's everything new will have people wearing masks, and people with 7 genders, and people who hate the orange fictional president, who will be some other guy. You get what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
we know about this. We know about Mockingbird Media, and we know, all the production houses were infiltrated by. Aaron's going to love this, by the Jews. All the film companies were run by Jews. MGM, obviously. 20th Century Fox is, I guess that's Fox. Is it? Is that Rupert Murdoch?
Which one?
Know. He's not really a Jew. Well, like Fox Studios, like 20th Century Fox or 21st Century Fox or whatever it's called now.
I think it's Rupert, or he sold it to someone. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, do you reckon that would have been his from the beginning? 20th Century Fox? It must have been.
No. I think we're confusing. I don't know. We're 20th Century Fox versus Fox News. Oh yeah. I'm sure there's a Goldstein. There's a Goldstein at the end of that rainbow.
Well, what I was going to say is, they claim he's not a Jew. His name's Rupert Murdoch. Mm-hmm. Murdoch is what? I don't know. Anglo
something, name? Something stupid.
Or what is it? Germanic? Who knows? But he fucking acts like. So I'm saying that he is one.
Mm-hmm.
Basically. With the exception of him, the rest of them are 100% fucking Jews, man. And
yeah, I don't want to. Let's not. We can bring in Aaron for this part
I don't want to hear it either.
Talk.
I have all kinds of I have mad arguments with Aaron. Dude, I have the best arguments with Aaron about this because I don't want to hear it either. And I think she idolizes her enemy too much and thinks that they're too capable, too powerful, and they control too much. Like, they do control a lot. So the point I was making was just about films and about modern culture, and about how we take a lot of cues from these films that we watch.
Mm-hmm.
Talkies, they used to call them. And this goes back a long time. Like, why the fuck do we all have this pastime, this obsession, this hobby of watching fucking made up shit? Can you imagine a future generation after we've collapsed and there's been a cataclysm and we've been long forgotten and the survivors have re-evolved a new society? They find us, they dig up an old fucking hard drive, get it cranking. Wow, this must have been their fucking belief system. Look at all these stories and things that, did they know that they weren't real? Were they interested? There's no. And if there's any intelligent people in this new society, they'll look at it and go, nah, they were just really stupid people who just spent their spare time with fantasy because it kills time and because it lets them live all of the things that real life should give that their pointless fucking existences don't allow for. Can you imagine like a future or an alien race looking down at us going, what the fuck is everyone watching fantasy for? Like made up fucking actors.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem watching a documentary or a science show or education or.
You're right. There is like the time
You
to
see what I'm
put away
saying?
childish things, right? But
Now,
you can't
now you
get people to
understand
grow
that.
up. The prolonged adolescence is part of the destruction that Yuri Brezmanov was warning people about just encouraging people to stay as like these teens that have teen problems. Even Carrie on fucking Sex in the City is having menopause while like chatting like, do you think he likes me? Fuck, maybe I should shave my pussy tonight. It's like, what the fuck? You're menopausal. Why don't you just
You're a fucking
move
month
to the
away from needing a
country
walk
and
up
just
here.
start knitting and selling it online? Stop gallivanting. You know, but it teaches this romantic notion
really
of like, no kids, y'all. Don't expect a gift from me at your wedding because I'm not getting married. Just make me. You know, it's
Do you know what fucking makes me sick, bro?
fucked up women, man.
Middle-aged women who have never had a kid. They've probably aborted several. They've probably had every type of birth control from a fucking spring up their cunt to a fucking injection run. And they're still looking for one more cock to fill that fucking hole in their soul. Meanwhile, I know women who are approximately 40 years old, who are still fertile, who love to have one last child before it's too late, and they fucking can't. Because why? Because there's no reason. There's no reason. But
technically you can, but it's like hitting a dartboard from fucking 20 feet. You know, where when you were like 22, it was hitting a dartboard from 6 feet. You know, and if you want to pay $15,000, we'll fucking put a little needle in there and we'll do it for you. You know?
Well, you know how fertility's dropped right off in Western countries, all around the world actually, but especially in Western countries. And it's mainly it's actually mostly the male sperm count has really dropped. Apparently, it's less than half of what it was at the turn of the century. So,
well, I want to see like I feel like that happened to Asia. I feel like Asian men started shedding their need for muscle mass a while ago, and they started doing, you know, selection mating preferences. Is he make a very good deal with elder? His wisdom shall be rewarded, and that's how they pick who they're fucking. And where it's in Africa, it's more like, holy fucking shit, that thing's gonna kill my children! Give me the most big fucking angry guy, and that tribe's gonna kill us too! There's a shortage of food, for fuck's sake! So that mating drove for more masculine and aggressive men, and it's like, fuck, good for you. But of course that's gonna result in...
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's an African... One of the regions, or one of the tribes, where the women fucking choose the man. The women get all dressed up
for
sure. They have a big festival, and all the women get all fucking sexy up, and they're fucking sexy at this age.
Yeah,
they've still got perky tits. They've still got perky tits going on. And I don't know, they're not sexy. They've got fucking plates in their lips, all kinds of sick shit. Don't worry about it. Forget I said that.
It's a very, like, they're hunter tribe people. There's not, like, I know there's agriculture, but it's a way more hostile, iffyville climate. I don't know.
But
Who the fuck knows? But I know it's where all the creatures are that like to kill humans are in Africa.
I think this is a good, I've got it. And I think this is a good fucking system. The man picks the woman he wants to court. She doesn't say yes or no. She doesn't say yes or no until all the men have made their decisions. And then the woman takes one or multiple men who have chosen her, and she can make them do things to impress her. Physical, athletic things.
You see Motombo? Kill him.
The rest of the other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very, dude, I get it. I'm not hating on it either. It's pretty awesome. But you've got
to... The men have to be men.
Yeah.
The women the women can never complain once they've chosen their man. They can't fucking go back on it because they chose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, calm down. She doesn't get to vote or anything. It's the only vote she ever gets in her life. A man is never going to get stuck with a woman he doesn't like because he's already chosen her as the first step.
Yep.
Right. So the only sad news is that each festival there'll be a few women and a few men that didn't get married, that they didn't make the cut for whatever reason, and they can try again next year. But basically, everyone's happy. The woman gets the man she wants, and she gets to pick the fucking strongest one. She gets to put them, through their paces.
Mm-hmm.
He's happy because he's already chosen her. Fucking can't go wrong. Who would have thought, huh? Good old Wakanda.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy.
But fuck those women. Back to what I was saying though. The reason I brought that up is because the film industry and TV shows, the TV industry, that's really got a grip on everyone's psyche. Everyone. Yep. Even us, like even you and me will be joking around and we'll make a fucking Seinfeld joke as a reference. Obviously we don't let the television tell us what to think. But we were still raised on it. We still grew up with films and movies. We still like those movies. You're always dropping Neverending Story references or Labyrinth or whatever.
Yep.
It's
Labyrinth,
okay.
I don't know. I don't know Labyrinth, man. I know David Bowie's in it.
Me either.
You have those friends that were big Labyrinth fans. You ever notice they're a little fucked up, those people?
No, I didn't have
Labyrinth
any
fans.
Labyrinth friends. I think I was
I had a Labyrinth friend.
I was the Labyrinth fan.
Wow. No, never.
The reason I mentioned
it's like you got to pick. It's Megadeth or Metallica.
There's a clear. Well, you might pick on that one.
Never.
The reason I mentioned Labyrinth
story guy.
There's clear child kidnapping shit going on in Labyrinth. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and Labyrinth isn't the only one. I mean, all of those movies, the Dark Crystal, the fucking Skeksis, and they're like trying to suck the essence of the halfling. Fucking Neverending Stories, kind of. Yeah, they're all kids. The princess is a little girl child. The hunter, he's a little fucking prepubescent 12-year-old boy.
Yep.
The main character, Bastion, he's a little. Yeah. Yep.
Atreyu.
So that's why I brought that
how you
up.
spell it?
And I don't care that Jews control it all. Spell what?
I'm trying to find the Atreyu
What are you trying to spell? Atreyu. Atreyu.
This guy probably aged like hell. All that Atreyu fame went to his nose.
No. We don't know where any of these kids went.
Oh yeah, there he is. 48, dude. Well done, Atreyu. All right, tattoos of an Asian woman. Okay, spider tattoo. What's that?
I managed to get the Bluetooth speaker working. There's got a shocking delay on it now. Listen to this. I don't know where the delay is coming from. It's like nearly a second.
Really? I like it. I can hear it.
No, but I'm saying there's always a slight delay just with latency, but not like that.
I hate it, dude. Latency, computers, trying to make it all work digitally with a guitar. Fuck that.
Shut up. You don't hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate it way more than you.
You want to jam?
I want to fuck it in the fucking ear hole.
I think I cut up some pics with a fucking bank card I found.
All that time we've been talking, I've been trying to get this to fucking
bank card
the speaker,
pic.
and now it's coming out the speaker, but it's really, you haven't got any pics? Buy them by the 100, bro.
Guess what this tuning is?
What pics
shit my kids put in this guitar. Little egg,
what pic do you use, bro? What's your standard pic you use?
Hold on one second.
What do you use? Dunlops?
No, I don't have a specific pick. I cut up a bank card. This is a bank card cut into some sort of shape.
2/6 chords, bro.
Okay, that's all you got to do.
2/6.
Do you know what tuning that is? It's rad.
Major 7 or something.
You know that. You know that song. That's Seasons. But it's all I can play on this guitar because I don't know any other songs in that tuning.
Hold on 1 second, mate.
I love how this is just degenerated. This is when you normally kill the live stream and just do stupid shit, but when you have no point to your stream, it's pretty easy to just be liberal. This is old Leslie, who I just ruined the action of. Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, what is it? Is that
That's Dancing Days.
something I should know, or is that original?
No, that's Dancing Days by Led Zepp. But I know it because fucking, what are their names, played it. Stone Temple Pilots.
Sounds more pilot.
And that's the 58, brother. 58. Just a no amp. Okay? What do you want to play on bass? I'll join you. What do you
I'm
want
trying
play?
to get it to come out of the speakers. Well, give me a sec. I'll see if I can get it coming out of the speakers.
Oh, that's out.
Master of Puppets, man.
Whatever. That was fun. I was going to bring over the Shredmaster guitar and just rock out, but no. I wanted to stream. Okay? We're streamers now. Welcome to the culture. Yeah, I'm just going to load up a Minecraft replay for everyone. Is there any funny videos, Taz? Or is it... I always think like you guys that stay on Twitter will have funny Twitter stories. Okay?
I'm
So
banned. I'm banned at
We
the moment.
found, when I streamed with Ross and Jess, we found Murtad Millie, our old friend Skepo. That was great. She's still doing the grift. I'm sure in some way. Did I lose you, Taz?
All right. Yeah, I heard about that. Heard about that.
Maybe I did.
Sorry? Say again?
Tazzy, was I getting lost in guitar
I'm
and I
here.
lost you?
Can you not hear me? No, can you hear me?
There's nothing else much more
Can
to
you hear me
talk
now?
about anyway, so I guess we can kill it. But
Why
you
can you
do
not
your
fucking hear
dance,
me now?
Taz, and we'll do this again soon. This was a joy and a pleasure. Be good to yourself and others.
I
Cheers,
haven't
Springer.
gone anywhere. Can you hear me now? I haven't fucking gone anywhere, bro. Son